When we left off, we were in the heart of Costa Rica's northern vacation destinations, successfully locating a SCOBY for making kombucha.
What's going on?
Back hurts. We're doing the dinghy up on deck. Putting the dinghy on deck was just to leave before first light this morning or before. We were going to leave at sunrise, and then I was just holding a bucket of water, rinsing out the dinghy, and my back kind of went out and just couldn't move. So we're trying to alternate hot and cold with what we've got. Cast iron works pretty well. It's
nice weight to it.
Yeah, it's good. Exactly, it's good weight to it. It's good warmth.
Started out with cold packs. Now we don't have a hot pack, but we heated up the cast iron. That seems to work pretty well. And the dinghy, getting the dinghy on and off the boat is one of the few things that we can't do by ourselves, really. We kind of need both of us to do. Everything else, I think we're both can figure out how to do on our own if need be, but the dinghy is a tough one. We were to hoist it by ourselves, it would just kind of destroy the side of the boat a bit.
Well, we're going to try and get underway here. I was able to get my back in decent shape where I could at least stand, and I was able to hold that dinghy up on deck with Hillary. She's getting the anchor off up here now. Based on our plan of around 4 knots average speed here that we're hoping to do, it's going to give us still a 10-hour journey.
Had quite the interesting day's sail. Kind of the rough start with Ty hurting his back, so I've mostly been up here managing the sails. So we pulled out of Tamarindo. We had quite a lot of wind. Started out with kind of 15 to 20 knots, and it built up to 30 knots, and we were quite rolly. We were kind of beam on to it for the first couple hours of the day, making great time. We had the main up with one reef and the staysail out. We were doing about 6 knots, which was great. Caught a fish. We have fish for dinner. As we've made our way down south, though, the wind has been dying off. We shook the reef out of the main. We actually had to motor for a bit, but now we have beautiful sailing conditions. Like 10 to 12 knots, kind of close haul, close reach, making 4 knots with all 3 of our sails out. The staysail, the full Genoa on the other side, and the full main. So really nice, beautiful, calm sailing right now. As you can see, our dinghy is in quite the state here. I know we showed you a couple of weeks ago, we noticed a little kind of scrape in the bottom, and slowly the fiberglass has just been peeling back, which probably means that last layer wasn't properly bonded, because if it was bonded, it shouldn't be peeling off. So we've tried to cut it back all the way to the edge, but definitely going to have to do something about that to fix it.
Well, those winds are really nice and light right now, probably about 4 knots off of our beam over here. We're going to raise the spinnaker up. We're going to start coming around a little more to port, which will give it kind of just behind our beam, which will be great for the spinnaker. It's been a little while since we've had the spinnaker up because the winds have been so strong north of here. We're officially now should be pretty much out of the Papagayo winds.
Ready to go, ready to raise it. Let's do it.
Okay.
To have the spinnaker up again. It's nice sailing with the spinnaker. But looking at it, it kind of looks like it's faded, isn't it?
It has. I think, well, we've had it up quite a bit, a lot of sun, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bright as it used to be.
Nope.
The seas are flat compared to what we had, eh?
Beautiful, nice change.
And we had a fishy breakout hook, probably a Dorado.
Well, it's a new day. Still got a pretty sore back. And I wanted to chat about something. I've been thinking about this for a little while now. How you deal with your health on board. I'm not very good personally at taking care of myself anyway, never have been. I'm not a person that likes to go to the doctors and deal with things and follow up on things early rather than later. I'd rather just like let it go and assume it'll get better. But I'm pretty confident that as I get older, that's probably not the right approach, and your body just ages and then you got to deal with it. So I've got a number of what I think are problems, most likely from pre-existing injuries from when I was younger, that seem to get worse as time goes by. What I think the question is for everyone is, how do you deal with resting your body on a sailboat? Or on a boat in general, I guess. A couple of things right now. I think I've got like a herniated disc. I threw my back out on top of that yesterday, and when I was reading up on what to do, one of the best ones was bed rest. I was like, well, how do you get bed rest on a sailboat? Because it's pretty hard to lay still, I find. Probably could do a better job at it, but still, it's just doing little things and getting from point A to point B when we want to sail somewhere. Coming up and down the companionway steps, it all is pretty taxing and aggravates my injuries. The same with this rowing to shore. Since we don't have an outboard right now and do a lot of rowing, it tends to affect my wrists, and I have quite a constantly sore wrist here, which is an existing injury as well. How do you get the bed rest? How do you take the time for yourself to get better and to not injure yourself again? A lot of it, I feel like, is probably going to be fitness, staying in good shape. Not the best at that. I'm in pretty good shape when we're on the boat just because of doing stuff, but I'm not like what I'd call exceptionally fit. I don't know. So I was just curious what everyone's opinions out there were on how they really let their bodies rest up when they're on a boat. If it's just, I just need to force myself to take that time and just let the boat sit for a bit. This isn't the most comfortable anchorage here. We just pulled in here for the night. It's quite rolly, which the rolliness really gives me a lot of pain in my back as well. Just the body sliding side to side hurts quite a bit. Back there hanging off the end of the boom is the flopper stopper that Hillary sewed up the other week, and it's going to be a trial and error. It doesn't seem to have worked at all right now. The ring around it isn't firm enough. We'll show you more on it later when we actually get it all figured out. But it's not opening up enough to catch the boat and dampen the roll. That would make things a lot nicer. There's a great surf break coming in on the reef here, and well, when I say surf break, not for surfing, but there's a really nice break coming in over here off the reef. It's a nice morning. Change out some fishing hooks time. These are pretty rusty on these Rapalas.
Hook maintenance day.
Just had a big Dorado that didn't catch on the line, but it wasn't because of this guy.
Found no matter what we do, our hooks tend to get a bit rusty. I think most of them are kind of questionable quality. Every once in a while we get some good ones that actually stay nice and shiny, but most of them get rusty pretty quick. We've tried doing like a freshwater spray and storing them inside. Now we've moved to just we have a little string, we hang them up on the Dodger, keeping them out in the air. Seems to work a little bit better, but still get rusty, and we need to replace them from time to time. One of the things that we get asked a lot by you guys is about our fishing setup and what we do. What we have here, we have a hand line, so I think they're called, what, yo-yos?
Yo-yos, Cuban reels, I think.
And attached to that we have a line that we just tie off to our solar panel Dodger thing. And then from that we have some tuna cord going back, probably about 50 to 100 feet of tuna cord that has a little swivel on the end, which is where we clip on the lure that has, I don't know, 5-6 feet of monofilament. We have pretty big, thick monofilament. Since it's not a reel where we can kind of pull it in and out, we want it to be really strong. And then these snubbers that we have on our hand lines, it's kind of a big, thick, bouncy snubber that gives it the give so that when the fish hits, it's not shock loaded. It has a little bit of stretch in it and we can pull it in. Super simple, super easy. No moving parts to really deal with other than making sure the lures are all good and our crimps and lines are good. We've had quite a bit of success with this setup. We don't really have any trouble pulling in the fish by hand. It's pretty easy to do that. Even we've got some pretty big fish, some like 3-4 foot long Dorados, some Sierras on there. Our most popular lures are kind of like the little hoochies, feather type ones. Also the red and white hoochies, little squid octopus things are super popular. We haven't had a red and white one, we lost it for a long time, but that one caught us a lot of fish. And just some plain old Rapalas, and those are what do the trick for us.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up, leave us your comment, share with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, adios.
This is our new energy efficient green stove. I don't know why we didn't think of this before when we had no propane. We can just use Ty's back to cook our food.